Hey folks, it's Andrew from GembaRed, and today we're going to be talking about how to set up your full body red light panel. This is our GembaRed Reboot. This really is similar setup for most of the red light therapy panels on the market. They all use kind of a similar hanging setup. And, I haven't seen a lot of companies or influencers promoting these panels really walking you through how to do the setup and how to think about where to set it up and how it's going to go into your lifestyle. So, that's one of the first things you want to do before you buy is, this is a pretty bulky thing. You want to know where you're going to set it up, where you're going to put it into your lifestyle. A lot of people ask, like, what's the best time of day to do red light therapy? And a lot of times, the best time of day is just whenever you can fit it into your schedule, because a lot of people have busy lifestyles. They might not have, the luxury of choosing, oh, am I going to do it in the morning? Am I going to do it at night? Am I going to do it before a workout or after a workout? A lot of times we don't have the choice. You just do it whenever it fits into your schedule, and that's the best time to do it, is just doing it, regularly and at a good routine. So one of the first things you want to think about is, where are you going to hang this? If you are going to hang it on a door, are you going to put it somewhere convenient to you? But then also think about, it kind of takes up some space on a door and it can kind of flop around on the door when you open and close it. So you kind of want to use it on a door that's convenient for you, but you also, maybe it's a door that doesn't have a lot of people moving through it every day and opening and closing it a lot, because it adds a little bit extra weight, makes it a little bit harder to open and close. So you got to think about these things. What door are you going to put it on? And unfortunately, a lot of people will take these panels and then they won't have a door to put it on, or they'll realize it's inconvenient to have it on a door, and they just kind of lean it against the wall and rest it on the wall, and then maybe you can sit in front of it or whatever, but that's not really the intended use to get kind of the good kind of full body coverage, so you can stand up, with it kind of vertically and get that good coverage. Again, that's if you have to do it, if you have to lean against the wall on the ground, or do what you got to do to set it up. Those are some important considerations before you buy a panel, is where you're going to do it and then when you're going to do it. And then I'd also recommend not setting up most of these panels in a bathroom, even though that might seem like a logical place to put it, because if you step out of the shower and then do it, or before a shower or whatever, the bathrooms end up steaming up with a lot of humidity and moisture and heat. And, a lot of these panels aren't really rated for a lot of humidity. Once the humidity gets inside, it can kind of wreak some havoc on the LEDs or the drivers or different components. So you probably don't want to put it in a bathroom or, a space that has high humidity or high heat. Like, you can't really put it into a sauna. So again, these are important things to consider. If you thought it would be convenient to put it in a bathroom or sauna, I wouldn't really recommend it. So you got to find somewhere else to do it. And then again, that leads me to, sometimes preferring flexible LED pads or smaller lights that I can use, if I'm sitting down next to it on a couch and I just use a small light or a pad, or, even my GembaRed Groove or Rex panels are just lightweight and I keep them near the couch or I keep them near the bed. You can go back to my first video, where I show how pretty much convenient it is just to lay it on you, rather than having this whole setup and then you have to go out of your way during your day to stand in front of it and close the door and do the thing for 10 to 20 minutes a day. Again, all these are important considerations before you buy this. I've got a good example. I bought a bulletproof vibration plate, and it vibrates the whole house when I use it, and I'm worried about kind of messing up my hardwood floors, and so I set it up in my basement. So now I have to go out of my way to my basement, and it's kind of out of sight, out of mind, and so I don't use it as much as I would like to. So again, it's an important consideration. You don't want this big monstrosity, you know, like a red light panel or some of these big vibration plates or, you know, other exercise equipment. I'm sure you have examples where you bought it, and obviously it could be very helpful for you, but it's not helpful if it's inconvenient and you don't use it. You know, the key thing is to get the benefits is to use it routinely. So, you know, again, think those things through. Doesn't matter what brand you buy from, these are important considerations. And then we'll go through and we'll take a look at this panel and how we set it up. So you can see it's already set up here. So it's already set up here. You know, there's just 2 screws on the top here, carabiner, another carabiner clips in. This is the adjustable height pulley, and then the carabiner clips onto the door hinge, and we'll go through that step by step right now. But that's just a pretty quick overview. It's very intuitive, you know, and so that's why probably a lot of companies, you don't really need a step-by-step video or whatever. I've got a PDF on my website. But it's really just, you know, screw these in, carabiners clip in, and then it clips onto the door hanger, and you're pretty much good to go. And then obviously you plug it in, you know, to a nearby outlet, and you got to watch out, because if the door swings one way and your nearby outlet is on the wrong side, you could create a trip hazard with having the cord kind of going across where the door swings open. So you got to make sure you have an outlet on, you know, on this side of the wall of the hinge, so that way you're not tripping over the cord. So again, it's all these little inconveniences, and again, once you start to think about hanging it on a door and where the cord's going, and every time you open the door, the panel might flap around, so you have to kind of be more careful when you open and close the door. You start to realize it's you know, kind of it's a cheap and simple way to get started with red light therapy, because otherwise, you know, what do? You have to buy one of those stands. You know, I don't even make stands because I think they're kind of overpriced, and you gotta, you know, it doesn't make sense to buy a $200 stand for a panel, but they can be convenient. So, or you can find a stud in the wall, and you know, you can put a bolt in the wall up here and then clip it onto a bolt in the wall. So that, I would think, is, you know, once you think about where you want it in the house and where you want it convenient, I'd say hanging it on the wall would be a really cheap way. You can get a pretty solid anchor or screw and put it into a stud, so that way, you know, it's sturdy. It's a lot cheaper than, you know, having a rack or whatever. And but, you know, I'd say get started right away using it and getting a feel for it, and think about where you want it to be more of a permanent fixture. But, you know, starting it on the door is usually the fastest way to go. So that's why most companies promote, you know, setting it up on the door. So yeah, let's take this down, and we'll just go through quickly, step by step, how to set up the panel. So with our Reboot, you get a little pouch like this. This is your door hanger. So you got your little door hanger, and obviously that goes up here. And so that's pretty self-explanatory. And then you got your power cord, also self-explanatory. And then this is the adjustable little pulley system to adjust the height. And you can kind of see this mechanism here. You know, this is how the panel's going to be pulling it. And then you've got a little clip right here, or a little switch that you kind of pulls up on, so that way you can pull down this and you get more slack, so you can extend, you know, the height, or, you know, drop it down. So once you do this little clip, you hold that, and I think if it's got weight on it, you don't have to hold it, but you pull this up, then you adjust it down, and obviously you can untie this to get more slack. And then actually when you're pulling it back up, it ratchets So you don't need to activate the lever when you're pulling it higher. But, you know, that's just the mechanism. So you pull up if you want more length, and we'll go over this a little bit more later. And then it just ratchets if you want it back up higher. So that's that mechanism. So the first piece we want to start with is actually these two wires in the carabiner. So we take these out, and the first thing we want to do is just simply clip on the carabiner to both the wires. So those usually clip on pretty straightforward. And then you've got the two wires, you know, that are going to attach to the panel. So we take the panel, let's take it right here. So you can see just the two kind of screw-on attachment points, and you just do it hand tight. You know, nothing too special here. You don't need any tools. Alright, and so now you've got it set up with the carabiner kind of like this, and then we'll attach, we'll take this and we attach the hanging, the pulley here. So those are clipped together, and so now we've got all this ready to hang on the door. And so that's the thing, you know, when you're setting it up, maybe it's helpful to have someone else help you lift the panel while you can clip it in, because you know, these panels are 22 pounds or 25 pounds, so you know, it's a lot. You kind of want to hold the panel in one hand and then clip it in with the other. So I'm going to do it alone, but you know, ideally it's easier with someone else. So you can see that was pretty easy. Just clips right on, you know, through the carabiner, and then you're kind of all set to go. And like I said, I'll go over the adjustable height mechanism, because I think people should kind of pay attention to this, because if you just drop this switch, the panel wants to drop. So you want to hold it at least with one hand, hold the cord, or you can embrace the panel, and so that way when you want to adjust it down, you can let it down kind of slowly and control it so it doesn't drop on your foot or cause some issue. And then, like I said, you don't need to activate a mechanism to bring it back up, just pull it up. So that's it. That's the hanging mechanism. We clipped it in, screwed on the pieces, and then, you know, you just need to know how to adjust it safely. Make sure you have a good grip on this when you drop that, and then you can let it down. And so then, once you let it down, you can, you know, for shorter people, or if you want to aim lower on the body, then you can bring it back up. So that's, you know, I thought it was important to kind of go over this mechanism and go over some of the kind of safety aspects of it as well. You know, if you can set it up with two people, I think that'd be ideal. And then just, you know, again, if you're adjusting the height, also be careful with not letting it drop too quickly. So that's it. That's the setup. Those are the considerations when you want to buy a panel, and if you want to, you know, get it started, putting it on a door, it's a very fast and easy way to get started and get that full body coverage. So it's a good way to go. Thanks for tuning in, and let us know if you have questions.